this might be the last recording of the semester for this course. Wow. Okay. Let's go ahead and share this. Where are you? Is that it? There we go. All right. Well, you guys know this comic. I show this all the time. So these slides are going to be available. These slides are going to be available on the class materials folder. So you can read the comic then. But this is our final exam kind of discussion here. Make sure this is recording. Good. All right. All right. So we don't have a date or a time yet, as far as I know. At least I haven't seen one. If any of you have, you can let me know. But as of right now, they're still working out the schedule for this. I can tell you, due to some travel plans, it will be during the second week if they if the department does what it does. I requested that it be during the second week of final exam, so you'll have a little extra time to study for this one. Okay, it will be a Microsoft form for you to fill out, just like the midterm exam was. I'm going to make it 100 points. I tried experimenting with something like that to make it more refined in previous years, and it just didn't work out. So 100 points is the easiest way to do this, and it'll represent 40% of your final grade. Okay. We will cover all topics in this course, everything from the beginning of the semester until the midterm exam. That was all that stuff up to normalization of the third normal form. And then we are going to add on top of that the stuff we covered in the second half of the course, the more advanced forms of normalization, the conceptual, logical, and physical database design will all be things that I may ask questions related to on this exam. Okay. The format will be pretty much the same as the previous exam. Short answer, kind of define some of the important terms. Make sure you do that in your own words, not something copied from a text or internet source. And you may be asked to give examples of some kind. Definitely want you to know how to write SQL statements. Obviously, I can't have you draw an ER diagram for a Microsoft form, but I could give you an ER diagram and ask you to show me what's wrong with it or to show me what's right with it, stuff like that. Make sure you understand traps, chasm traps, fan traps. We've also now added to that not a trap, but what's called a redundant relationship. Remember one of the traps, the way to fix the trap was to add a third relationship between the three tables. But sometimes we think there's a trap and we add a third relationship, and what we've actually done is we've created a redundant relationship. So make sure you know if something is a redundant relationship or if something fixes a chasm trap. Okay. You will be expected to know how to normalize a data set. If I give you some example data, can you go through the process of normalization on that example data? And you guys are older now, nice second year students, and some of you beyond second year, so you should be able to write kind of more of a few sentence answer to a question. Okay, so kind of a longer text question. Okay, especially I want to add to this how to merge two databases. We talked about merging in the past. Know what phase of the database design does merging come in? When do we do that? And how would we go about doing that? Okay. Now, I am going to put some special questions on this exam. What I've seen is somehow a few of there's some interesting misunderstandings related to what feedback is on these Microsoft forms, because I've gotten a number of messages in previous quizzes and the midterm where you click submit, that comes back and it says your answer wasn't the exact same as the answer that I put in the text field, and you say, oh, I think this is right, and you message me. The feedback is intended for you to have an idea of a correct answer, right? Of what a correct answer might be. It's not in our field, there is very, very rarely one right answer to a question, okay? Or even sometimes you might misspell a word, right? So for example, I'll write this in the, oh, thank you, Mutbaran. So for example, if the answer was the word the, for example, and you type that, that's what you're that's what you expect. Guess what? If you type this in there, the feedback answer will say you're wrong, but clearly I understand what you meant by that, right? I mean, I know lots of my friends who make that very mistake in writing the word the on a text message. And so I'm not going to count that answer as wrong, right? Of course, because it is right, right? It's just you made a mistype, and that's okay. All right. So if you see that your answer is not the exact same as the answer that I gave as information for you, don't worry about that during the exam. Okay, immediately after you click submit. Okay, because I'm going to go back through all of the answers, through all of the form submissions, and I'm going to check those answers, right? Just like I've done throughout this whole semester with the quizzes and with the midterm exam. Okay, so please do not contact me about those feedback answers. Once the exam is returned to you and you've been given a final grade on that, if you have concerns and questions, that would be the time to contact me. Okay. Some other things that I've seen, and I'm not exactly sure how this has been going on, but sometimes those feedback answers are not the correct answer or a correct answer, but is more of a kind of an idea of, oh, correct answers will include this in it, or correct answers will make note of something. Okay. And what I've noticed is there's some students that somehow type word for word my hint to there. I'm not exactly sure how that happens, considering you're not supposed to see that feedback until after you submit the form. So what I'm going to do is on some questions, I'm going to put incorrect feedback. Okay. For some questions on this exam, I'm going to put incorrect feedback on the initial form. I will then change it later to make it correct after everyone has submitted the form. Okay. But if you put my incorrect answer in there, well, you might as well just expect that's going to be a wrong answer. Okay. And it may make me take a closer look at your exam for other potential suspicious things. Okay. So just be aware of that. All right. And then finally, there is one other question. There's like one very important part of being an engineer is that we need to know our limitations. We need to know the things that we know and the things that we don't know. And we need to understand how to tell the difference between those two. Okay, so both of these issues, the previous one and this one, are both related to much larger than just the database course. This is about what it means to be an engineer. And one thing it means to be an engineer is to not copy someone else's answer and submit it as our own. Okay. Another aspect of being an engineer is being able to say, I don't know this. And sometimes we shouldn't necessarily be expected to know something. Okay. So you need to understand what the scope of this course is, this database course. Okay. And so what I'm going to do to test you on this ability of being an engineer is I'm going to put a question. I'm going to put one of the questions on this exam will be completely not related to the material from this course. Okay. And what I want you to do is I want you to tell me, sir, this is not related to this course. Okay. If you leave the answer blank, I won't consider that a correct answer. If you somehow put an answer in there, somehow you miraculously just know the answer to this rather advanced question, it will be a rather advanced question. Okay, related to an advanced topic in computer engineering. And if you somehow know this answer, but you don't understand that wasn't part of this course, then I will also consider that as to be a wrong answer. You must write in the blank something that tells me that you were able to tell that this was not part of this course. Okay? All right. So that's those are those special questions. And if anyone, doesn't get that and fills in the blank with a a correctish answer for the advanced question, or the feedback stuff contacts me during the exam about, hey, the feedback answer and my answer are similar, but it says it's wrong. What am I supposed to do? If you do that, I will know that you didn't watch this video. And so so what I'll do is I'll redirect you and I'll say, hey, you probably should go watch the final review video, and you'll understand why things are as they are. Okay. All right. So that's that plan. So a couple of final notes here. Well, yeah, you can't close your phone and computer, just like with the midterm. That needs to go ahead and, let's see here. Pointer, pen. Okay, so I can't close that. Can't close that. Well, I guess the mouth, not even that real. I mean, if you want to talk to your cat that's in the room, or your dog if you have one, or you want to just yell at the computer screen, as long as your microphone's not on, then yeah, that's fine. Okay, definitely open mine as usual. Okay. Normally I would say the notes sheet, but yeah, what we're just gonna say is just whatever. Whatever you want, all your notes, printed material. If you have the textbook in hand, and this is something that I would do in this, if this exam was a physical face-to-face paper exam, is I would let everyone just have whatever notes or printed material they would want to bring with them. Okay, so yeah. Because the point is, I do not want you to do a ton of memorization of all this different, don't memorize queries, don't memorize definitions. I want you to know the material. I want you to understand it, and I want you to know what you know, and I don't want you to know what you're not expected to know. Okay? All right. So that was a lot. Do we have any questions for this before we end here, and hopefully get to have one more presentation tomorrow morning?
Are you gonna ask that same 10-point photograph?
Well, since there's not a notes sheet, I won't ask you to upload a notes sheet, because I wouldn't want you to it's like I can't have you hold up a big textbook and take a picture of it, right? Since you can have whatever. So, no, you won't have to upload a photograph of your note sheet.
I can, teacher, for 10 point, I can.
Don't worry about it. This exam shouldn't be difficult enough that everyone needs that 10 points. Think about this. The 10 points can be that question that you should know if it's outside of our scope, outside of our course material. All right. Good question. Anybody else? No. All right. Well, thank you guys for a great semester. If this happens to be the last time that I see you on for this semester until the final exam, then oh, it should be the same as the midterm was not quite 2 hours, the hour and 50 minutes. Good question, Tarana. I know that's important. Usually what we do every year is this is the final exam is like an hour and 50 minutes, and then the Batun Lamé, if you end up taking that, is only 1 hour. So,
Professor, can I say something?
Sure.
So you said that it will be given the same time with the midterm exam, but you said that we will cover everything we have learned in the semester. So do you think that it's a good idea to be given the same time, since we will ask a lot of things?
Yeah, the problem is I don't set the hours for the exam, and so that's a departmental, or I think actually a university thing that they set how many hours we're allowed to make the exam. So the length of the question, assume that the exam will lean more on the second half stuff, but I'm just saying be aware that you shouldn't forget all the first half of the semester just because you've already taken the midterm. And the truth is, in a lot of our field, in a lot of the topics in our field, database, programming, operating systems, all these different things, really a lot of the topics build on themselves. And so just like for those of my students who are in the 102 class right now, just because we're learning object-oriented programming doesn't mean you can forget what an if statement is, even though that's from 101, right? I mean, hopefully everyone in this call knows that an if statement still is important and you still know how to write one. All right.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Well, then somebody posted that it will be the 24th of June. Okay, so 9 a.m. All right, so I'll see you guys bright and early. All right. Thanks. And have a good evening. And if I don't see you tomorrow morning, if the group doesn't message me back that they are presenting tomorrow morning, then this will be the last time we see each other until that 24th of June. And I wish you well on all your other exams. All right. Have a good evening.